Please start.
So, very good evening, galaxy of intellectuals, invited speaker, professors, industry person, corporate members and alumni, students and ladies and gentlemen. I am Sumanta Chatterjee, Assistant Professor of Computer Science and Engineering, GIS College of Engineering. On behalf of the great institution, we are delighted to offer a gracious welcome to all of you in the national webinar on Introduction to IT Security Technique, a strategic approach to cyber threat protection, organized by Department of Computer Science and Engineering, GIS College of Engineering, Kolani, West Bengal, India. Dear all, today we are happy to have with us Mr. Avinav Biswas, Deputy Chief Information Security Officer, Electronics Corporation of India, presently is working in the Hyderabad. He is today's speaker and he is also the alumnus of this great institution. So welcome Mr. Avinav Biswas to this program. Dear all, we are delighted to have with us our faculty members with us. Without further delay, we would like to start our program. So before starting the program, I would like to request Ms. Devasya Mitra, Senior Assistant Professor of GIS College of Engineering, to give the welcome address to the audience. Over to you, madam.
Thank you so much, Sumanta sir. Very good evening to everyone and welcome to this webinar. And I would like to welcome you all to this session. And I just want to give you the brief introduction to our speaker. He is our beloved ex-students, alumnus 2012 from Department of Computer Science Engineering from GIS College of Engineering. He is just a kid to us, our child. And it's very happy to see his growth and his prosperity in his career, and wish him all the best. And like every other previous webinar or session, I hope people will enjoy the session and learn many more things for the internet security or information security, whatever the topic he will share with us. And before starting the session, I just want to give brief introduction of Mr. Avinav Biswas. He has completed his BTech in Computer Science of Engineering from GIS College of Engineering in the branch of Computer Science Engineering. And presently he is working with ECIL India as a Chief Deputy Security Officer. And right now he has working with many research topic, many R&D project with Government of India. And I want to, and on behalf of SACE department, I want to congratulate him, his success, and wish him all the best for his future endeavor. And this is a very good opportunity for us, for our students, for our participants who has joined this webinar throughout the all over the India, not only from West Bengal, outside West Bengal, from North India, from South India, from Northeast India also. Many people have joined this seminar through YouTube link, and many students and professors are already joined through this in Zoom link also. So before I just don't want to waste much more time. So please, Sumanta sir, over to you. And Avinav, please start your session. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for your inspiring and the influential message. And you have highlighted this about this webinar. Thank you once again, madam, for this welcome address for the audience. I would like to start this program, but without further delay, we want to start this program. Before starting, I'd like to request Ms. Poulomi Mondol to give the brief introduction about the today's speaker. After that, I will hand over this session to Mr. Avinav Biswas. Over to you, Ms. Poulomi Mondol.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, respected professors and present respected speaker and all the audience seeing this session. Myself, Poulomi Mondol from BTech second year from GIS College of Engineering, Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Now I want to share a few words about our respected speaker, Mr. Avinav Biswas. Mr. Avinav Biswas is a technology evangelist with wide range of agile experience, starting from the days of embedded systems, moving to web and object-oriented development, followed by cybersecurity, and then to the latest trend of data center risk management amalgamated with governance and compliance. He is a certified ethical hacking and countermeasures expert EHCE by US Council and has been specializing in diverse security areas like enterprise data security operations, security of industrial control systems ICS, virtualization and hardware security, critical infrastructure CI protection, threats from Internet of Things, IoT, etc. He is currently holding the role of Security Administrator for ECIL, a public sector enterprise under Department of Atomic Energy, Government of India. He is primarily responsible for security strategy planning, policy implementation, management of risks and threats, independent compliance, reviews, and implementation of new IT security products and technologies. He has been a recipient of the prestigious Security Leader of the Year Award by Data Security Council of India DSCI, a NASCOM body, and several other national accolades like Top 100 InfoSec Mastros, Dynamic CISO Excellence, Nalcon Black Shield, IBM Blue Scholar, etc. He is actively involved in delivering guest lectures and presenting research papers at several security conferences like Global IoT Conclave, C0C0N Hacking Conference, National Cyber Safety and Security Summit, CSI Tech Talks, ThoughtWorks Geek Night, etc. He brings a distinguished combination of technology acumen with business insights and experience in the cybersecurity industry and has been featured in leading industry magazines like Cyber Diligence, Electronics for You, Digital Forensics, etc. Thank you, sir. Now I want to request our respected Professor Mr. Sumanto Chatterjee to continue the session.
Okay, thank you so much, Bolomi. You have already given the brief description about Mr. Avinav Biswas. So without further delay, we want to start our program. I'd like to request Mr. Avinav Biswas to start the session. Over to you. Mr. Avinav, are you online?
Mr. Ravina, please unmute yourself.
Mr. Avinav, please unmute yourself. You are not audible.
Hello, now I'm audible?
Yeah, you know you are audible. You can continue. Yeah.
Yeah, so a very good evening to all of you, gentlemen and ladies present here. It's a great delight for meeting with you all in this virtual mode in a webinar organized by the Computer Science Department of JIC. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Sumanto Chatterjee for inviting me here and giving me this opportunity to interact with my fellow juniors and guide them into this field of IT security and being a hacker in themselves. And also, I'd like to thank the incumbent Honorable HOD, Mr. Dharampal Singh, for allowing me to speak on such a great topic and enlighten all the students with this. And finally, before starting, I would like to tell you that I want to make this session very interactive. I want you to interrupt me, create trouble for me by asking questions. So, without further ado, let's begin. So this is the brief agenda of the presentation today. First, I'll go through the recent cyber security attacks that are happening and how they are happening. Then we'll talk about the security defense strategies and different threat prevention and protection technologies that we have today. Hello? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are audible. You are audible. Please continue.
Okay, so this is the and my presentation is also, you can see, right?
Yes, it is visible also.
Okay, fine. So this is the agenda for today's presentation. First, I'll talk about the recent cybersecurity attacks that are happening and what are the prevention mechanisms and technologies we have in place. Then I'll talk about the IT security policies and audits part of how we can control and manage IT security in a company or an organization, be it healthcare or be it a college kind of environment. And finally, some conclusion thoughts. So, brief introduction about me. I passed out from JIS in 2012. Then I joined ECIL, Electronics Corporation of India Limited. Here I had a stint of 1 year training program, and first 6 months I was in Hyderabad learning various things about atomic energy, nuclear power plants, and how IT is playing a role in shaping this atomic energy in a country like India. Then the next 6 months, I worked in BARC, Bhabha Atomic Research Center, Mumbai, Computer Division. There I learned about network security techniques, how BARC is managing a large network of around more than 10,000 endpoints and how they're managing it. So after that, I came back to Hyderabad, and my most of the focus was into finding out vulnerabilities, doing penetration testing, and strengthening ECIL network and the IT application services in our data center. So talking about ECIL, we make strategic electronic products for the Indian defense and nuclear establishments. We have our own indigenous routers, mass encryptors, missile fuses, the famous electronic voting machines, which is our flagship product. And we also make and deliver a lot of cyber security training to various colleges. There is a wing called ECIT. A lot of government colleges partnered with ECIL in delivering these kind of cutting edge technology based hands-on based training to the students. Also, we recently celebrated our golden jubilee year. We completed our 50 years of existence. And I myself have been specializing mostly into industrial control security and data center security. So from my experience, ECIL is always under the radar of hackers and cyber criminals, being a company that caters to strategic sectors like nuclear and defense. So we face a lot of DOS, denial of service attacks, DDoS, distributed denial of service attacks on our firewalls, spam phishing attempts on a regular basis. So most of my work has been to protect our data center, the core of our ECIL, from these kind of attacks. So without further ado, let's begin. I have a couple of certifications which already Polu Madam have talked about.
It's 8 o'clock.
This is the timeline of internet era. In a matter of just last 2 decades, you see computing systems have evolved at a tremendous rate. Earlier, before the internet, the pre-internet era, most of the communication was human to human, right? Using paper-based postcards and letters. But then networks started becoming smarter. Computer devices started connecting to each other. And that was when we started the content of internet. We came in the internet era. And it was the era of content, where we call it WWW, the World Wide Web. So emails started coming, information was shared online via these networks, even entertainment websites started coming. So this was the era of content, because a lot of digital content was being put up on the internet. Then came the internet of services, where e-productivity, e-commerce sites started coming online. So companies started coming online, they started delivering their services online. So that was the internet of services. And this happened because the IT platforms, web development and design, all these things, browsers, they started getting more advanced and were new. The next stage was internet of people. Because of the proliferation of smartphones, social media started becoming a boom. Skype, Facebook, YouTube. So people started communicating with each other. So it was the internet of people. And this was further enhanced by the smart devices industry, which we call IoT, Internet of Things. So now we are into an era where machines can talk with machines independently without human intervention. So if you see all this, we are drifting into an era of smart things. 50 billion devices have been connected by this year as Gartner research, 50 billion. And let me tell you, the world's population is only 7 billion. So it's almost 7 devices per person if we divide it like that. Now, a very preliminary question. Why is everything getting smart? Why do you think every object, now we call it as a smart device? We started with smartphones, smart TVs, smart cars, smart traffic management, smart energy management, smart planet even. Why is everything getting smart? Is it just a publicity of existing products? Or things are really getting smarter? And if yes, things are getting smarter, what is making them smart? Is it these small things which are getting smaller and smaller day by day? The sensors? We now have accelerometers, gyroscopes, proximity sensors, humidity sensors, GPS location sensors, all in the size range of millimeters. The typical smartphone in your pocket, it has on an average 12 sensors in it. So is this proliferation of sensors is what making everything smart? Or is it these big machines, the servers, the cloud, or the server farms we call it? Computing is becoming incredibly powerful day by day, and it's growing exponentially, Moore's law. With more capacity, more performance, and more capability, and more change in the last 10 years than the last 50 years. Imagine, big data analytics, machine learning, deep learning, technologies have been possible because of these big machines, the servers, the cloud. So can we say the cloud is making everything smart? Or is it the connectivity, the rise of M2M, machine-to-machine communication? IoT devices are ubiquitously getting connected to each other. 50 billion devices, remember. So devices can talk to each other without human intervention. So can we say this M2M and connectivity is making everything smart? Actually, it's the combination of 3 main ingredients which makes everything smart. When we combine these 3 sensors, cloud, communication, we get the power of innovators, the Fitbits, the Apple Watch, implant. Every smart IoT device is leveraging They are trying to work where we live in and the digital world, where we get the power of data-driven decisions. They're enabling us to bridge this gap. The tiny computers of the physical world, the sensors, are getting connected to those massive computers of the digital world, the servers, the cloud, or server farms, whatever you call it. So they are getting connected in ways that allows the massive computers, the servers to ingest the data, getting connected in ways that allow the physical to become digital, that those massive computers can ingest and take it as an input and give output. The actuators, they can take decisions. The system is actually, typical IoT system is actually working. So you see there is a tiny computers in the physical world, there are the digital computers or the servers in the digital world. That is the physical computer, and they are communicating like this. If you understand this technology, understand this structure, it is very easy to find out where are the vulnerabilities and how to attack this kind of system. Before we get into hacking and all that, actually fueled with our data. They call it browsing habits, timing habits, eating habits, health indicators, or heartbeat, blood pressure, places. Every data is being collected by these smart devices. They are sent here. They are sent to these huge server farms of the digital world. And there is a lack of transparency between the data being collected for and what it is being used for. Data is actually being repurposed. So we are drifting into an era of surveillance. And privacy and anonymity concerns are much additional and much more scary. Security is all about CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. We need to protect the CIA of the data, CIA of the thing that we have to preserve. But privacy and anonymity are two bigger challenges. Privacy is a new domain in IT where we need to understand what we can share with other or the public domain, what we cannot. How somebody can misuse it, can repurpose the data in a different format we cannot even expect and think about. And anonymity is one more concern. How we can browse this web in an anonymous fashion. How to not others know, how to not let know the advertising companies that I am visiting this website, because nowadays everything you do online, the next thing you are going to do online will be based on recommended system, based on AI, right? So how can I make a system so that I can browse the web, but nobody should be able to track me? How can I do it anonymously? So these are the bigger challenges, and with IoT, these challenges are becoming more bigger and more problematic. Most of you have heard of this website, I guess, Shodan.io. If not, this is a search engine for, you see, the web, search engine for IoT devices, search engine for webcams, search engine for refrigerators, search engine for smart cars, everything. Any IoT device which is connected on the internet, this is like the Google of IoT. You can search and find out the IP address, find out the location, find out the services which is running, the port it is running, TCP IP port, everything. This site will find out those webs and even give you the feed. Like if you are, so I will request people who have not visited the website, just go and understand what is happening with IoT. So we are in a situation where everything can be hacked, literally everything. Let's see the famous Stuxnet. This was an attack, state-sponsored, nation-sponsored attack on the Iranian nuclear program in the year 2010, and it's one of the first of its kind. Here, what the modus operandi was, they distributed these fancy-looking pen drives and thrown it into the campus of this nuclear establishment of Iran, and it was funded by the US government And what this pen drive did is, anybody will pick up a fancy looking pen drive and put it in his desktop or laptop. Then there is a malware inside this pen drive that will execute and try to increase the RPM of the centrifuges of the nuclear power plant. And it specifically attacked the Snyder systems, this malware. So the attackers knew very well that Snyder systems PLCs are being used in that Iranian nuclear power plant. So imagine the network was fully secure, isolated, it was air gapped, it was not connected to internet, but still attackers were able to penetrate into that and infect the centrifuges, and it stopped working. The nuclear plant stopped working. Then the payment gateway attack. This was in October 2016. You see, almost 3.2 million debit cards data were breached. And immediately after that, these banks, SBI, ICICI, had to roll out the chip-based debit cards or credit cards. Before that, it was only that RFID-based. And a lot of this data which were breached in this were sold in the dark market. If you know Tor and all, you can understand that you can buy anything on with hacking stuff and all in the dark market. Now next, this is the Sony hack. Imagine one fine morning you come to office or you go to your workplace, you open your laptop or desktop and you see this. This literally happened in the Sony Japan's office. It was written, hacked by GOP, Guardians of Peace. It was an activist group which did this. And the best thing about this is that this was done by a group of activists who don't want Sony to release a film about North Korea. So that is why this activist did that. Now, think it in this way. Suppose you are the administrator of Sony. What will you do when you see this happening in your network? Immediately, you will try to find out what happened in the network, where the infections are happening, whether it is spreading or not. And this whole process is called IR, incident response. And I will come into that, how in a more structured way, how in a more standard way you can have an incident response in your organization. So you see compromised data, a lot of personal information, corporate email, source codes, VPN tokens, box office projections, copies of unreleased films. So many things were hacked and it was uploaded in the public domain. Almost 100 TB data was stolen. Now, initial allegations were on China or activists from China, but later it was found out that it was done by disgruntled employees, ex-employees of Sony. And the US claims that these activists were of North Korea. Next, the widespread ransomware. Ransomware is a very innovative way of doing attacks these days. I will write a malware, send it in your laptop or desktop, and the moment it executes, it encrypts your hardware and the key is kept with the attacker. So you cannot open any of your file. Imagine, I will ask you money. I will ask you to give me ransom in bitcoins, on cryptocurrencies, so that then only I will release the key and you will get your data. And this is very becoming widespread nowadays. The most famous one, which was most widespread in India in 2017, was the WannaCry. Most of you must be knowing because Government of India has released a lot of guidelines and for how to keep yourself safe from these kind of ransomware. And basically, how it worked was it exploited the Windows SMB Shambha's share protocol, which is after Windows 7, Windows have even stopped deprecated it. They are not even putting SMB protocol nowadays from Windows 10. Now, EPFO website, the Public Provident Fund website, also got hacked. Imagine 27 million user sensitive data at risk. This happened in May 2018. And the modus operandi here was to infect the Aadhaar seed portal. And we quite frequently get the news that Aadhaar data is also sold in dark market with as cheap price as 500 rupees. You can get anybody's Aadhaar fingerprints and all. I don't know how much true it is, but it is possible. And let's talk about this India's largest nuclear power plant, NPCIL attack, KKNP, which is in Kudankulam. This is our sister company, NPCIL, AECIL, both are in the Department of Atomic Energy. This got attacked last year. Now, this was again done by North Korean attackers. They penetrated into the administrative network of this nuclear power plant. They could not do any damage to the nuclear process as such, but they were able to penetrate into our network. And after that, a lot of halla has happened inside the ELS. You know, like if a police case or police crime happens, the apex body to do the investigation is NCB or the CBI, right? Similarly, if a cyber attack happens, the apex body in India is the CERTIN, Computer Emergency Response Team. In
Hey
India.
Abhinav, see if the water bottles are empty.
The thing is, so this is how we called CERTIN. They came and they visited these power plants and isolated the system, did a reverse engineering and find out what went wrong. And if you see, this was the letter which was issued by NPCIL after the attack, admitting that the yes, malware has hit and what are the steps they have taken. Now, even my own organization, ECIL's web server got hacked in 2013, the year after I joined ECIL. That was a turning point for me to get excited about this kind of field in IT security and all. So what happened in our company was that our website, ECIL website, was compromised. A shell was installed in that Linux server, and some 35 MB of data, sensitive data, was leaked and was uploaded in public domain. It was a mega.co.nz. It's a New Zealand domain, which contained some PDF files, some source codes, and some important communication between BRC, ISRO. Also, the details about MACE telescope. If you don't know, MACE is a very big telescope which is installed in somewhere in Jammu and Kashmir for getting a lot of data for the ISRO. And that telescope is actually designed and developed by ECIL. So this attack particularly was done by a hacker group called Frozen Mist. So here also CERTIN and CSAC visited our campus. They did the investigation for about a week, find out what went wrong, how we can prevent it from happening again. And for God's sake, after this incident, in the last 7 years, there is no major attack in ECIL yet. So now this is the incident history of India as a whole. This is a report published by CERTIN, Computer Emergency Response Team of India. It is under Ministry of Electronics and IT. So you see the graph. All graphs are just increasing. Incidents handled, phishing, website defacements, virus and malicious code just keep on increasing over the years. So what does this signify? This shows that the need for cybersecurity professionals are going to increase. And as we are going into a digital era, IoT era, and AI era, cybersecurity is going to be a very, very required field, and lot of skilled talent is required to manage this kind of domain. So let's now understand how these attacks are happening, how hackers are able to penetrate into some company's network, steal the data, or destroy the data, sabotage, espionage, how they're able to do it. So it's actually a very formal process and well-defined process. And it is called the cyber attack kill chain. It is actually a 7-stage process, starting from reconnaissance, exploitation, installation, command and control, and finally exfiltration. These terms may look very hi-fi and too much complex because these terms were taken from the military, actual military. But these I will try to break it down into simpler terms, and I will try to understand how this process is actually happening, how hackers are able to attack systems. So let's go with the first phase, that is the reconnaissance phase. This is the phase where you gather and harvest public information. You know, when you want to hack a company or an organization or a bank or a college network, what you will do? First, you want to profile your target. You want to know where this, how is your target functioning? What kind of servers they are using? Where are their data centers? Where are their DNS servers? Who are their key people? How active they are in social media? Can I talk with them and get some information out of them? So all this kind of intelligence gathering is called is done in the first stage. It's called the reconnaissance stage. And there are two types of reconnaissance: active reconnaissance and passive reconnaissance. Active means the other person will understand somebody is trying to recon them. So the thing is, here you will be creating logs in the target systems and servers. Whereas passive reconnaissance is a technique where there will be no log because you are doing it everything hidden. So all this identification, profiling, and validation is done through non-regular ways, like talking with them, social engineering, and all whatnot. So this kind of intelligence gathering is also called OSINT, open source intelligence gathering. This is the first stage. Second stage is when you have the idea of a target, then you design the weapon to attack it. This is the weaponization stage. Here you create the exploit, the malicious PDF file, the malicious MP3 or malicious PPT, attach your exploit with it and try to deliver it. Okay. Now coupling the exploit with a backdoor is not very easy thing. A lot of malware researchers have to do that. But the good thing about this weaponization is lot of these malwares exploits are openly available in the dark market as well as in the open web. So you can just type a particular software name and vulnerability name and you'll get the exploit. There is a site by Google called Exploit DB, Exploit Database, where you can just go type the name of the exploit and download it. So you need not write it, you will get the source code even. So you have to get the exploit, attach it with a payload and create a backdoor, put your information, and now your weapon is ready. This is the second stage. Now let's go to third stage. Now after your weapon is ready, you need to deliver it, right? So to send it, there are various communication vectors. It can be through an email, it can be through a pen drive, it can be through a mobile app, it can be through a video, steganographic techniques, and whatnot. It can be a phishing attack where it may look like a mail coming from a genuine person, but it is actually coming from a malicious actor. Drive-by downloads. Also DNS cache poisoning. This is very much interesting. So, suppose if you know how DNS works, when you type google.com in your browser, how your browser knows or your system knows where is google.com. What it does is it actually contacts the DNS server and find out the IP of google.com and tries to hit it there, right? Now suppose I compromise or I do a man in the middle kind of thing and give a wrong IP to you. So in your browser you will still see google.com, but you will open a phished page. So this kind of DNS cache poisoning techniques are being used nowadays to deliver your web. Next is exploitation. So once your weapon has been delivered to the end user system or mobile or whatever end device, then it has to, or he has to open that PPT or open that attachment. Now there are various, this is like an ocean, how exploitation can be done. There are various things which are taught in academia. There are various things which are not even taught in academia, but they do exist in the industry. Various kind of attacks, SQL injection, cross-site scripting, CSRF, cost-type, request forgery, then staged exploitation with lateral movement. Suppose I want to attack a company like bank. Now I know banks will be allocating very cybersecurity professionals who are very much talented and they will try to protect their network. But there may be a clerk in that same bank who is not that technically savvy, who is not that person. So I may attack his system first, get control of that system, then try to do a lateral movement. So if I can do that, it will be easier for me to penetrate into that. Go to the endpoint first through internet and then go into the data center. So these are ways of how exploitation are being done. Also nowadays in-memory exploitation are being done, like buffer overflows and underflows. So the exploitation happens on the RAM itself. So after the code is executed, the code is deleted. So there is no forensics. What happened? So these are the things, and two important things to note here, that exploitation cannot exist without a vulnerability. Every software, every application, every protocol needs to have some vulnerability identified by some cybersecurity researcher, and based on that, an exploitation kit or exploitation software can be made. And not all vulnerabilities are technical. There may be non-technical vulnerabilities on the way of how the user interface is designed, how the database connectivity is happening. So these kind of non-technical vulnerabilities can also be present. The next stage, fifth stage, is installation. So once the exploit kit executes in the target, in the endpoint system, then the attacker would like to have persistence. they want to have control of their system. So they install some kind of backdoor onto the target and get a reverse, right? So that I can remotely control. So this can be done by a lot of tools and a lot of learning to Linux and the distance to have continuous access to the target. And I can compromise multiple systems, create a botnet, and this botnet can be used for doing attacks like DOS attacks or DDoS kind of attacks. So this is the fifth stage. So once I have the control of the target, now it's on my wish how I want to exploit the system, what I want to do with that system, find out hotspot. Let me tell you that these hackers are getting so innovative that when they find some data and they want to steal it, because they know that some firewall or some antivirus mechanism will try to detect that a big file is getting uploaded. So what they do, they take that file, divide into multiple pieces and chunks, into bytes, and upload it in different servers across the continents. And somewhere they will be collecting all these pieces and create the original file. Now imagine how hard and how difficult it is for a security person, for an anti-hacker, for an administrator to detect this. How we can, even if we know that our network is secure, we have installed antivirus, we have installed the firewalls, UTMs, everything. But if this kind of attack is happening, pieces by pieces, the data is going out everywhere and they are collecting them, it's very difficult to detect. So this is what is done by CNC servers. They do control the endpoint and the target. And there are various features of CNC servers like centralized architecture, decentralized architecture, and to have a covert communication between the hacker and the target, they use techniques like DNS fast flux, where they immediately change the DNS within seconds, or they use domain generation algorithms, DGS. They also do traffic tunneling through anonymous networks like Tor. So they hop around different continents before reaching the target. So if you have to find out who is accessing the system, you have to go back to this country first, then go to that country first, then go to that country first. It's difficult. You may not end up finding out who is attacker. This is how CNC servers work. And final stage is stage 7. This is the exfiltration. This is where the actual objectives of the attacker are fulfilled. So it can be like IP theft, intellectual property theft. It can be like sabotage. It can be like destroying the network, deleting the data, encrypting the data. And if it's a critical infrastructure, they may disrupt the services to the citizens and whatnot. Also, this stage we can use it as a part of botnet. Like last year, Twitter was brought down by a botnet of around 1 lakh bot devices. So the hacker group was able to compromise 1 lakh systems, programmed it all together to do a massive DDoS attack on Twitter. So it was brought down for 6 hours. So this is the whole cyber attack kill chain and how attacks are being happening. And if you see, it's a very formal process. It's a very technical process, and a lot of skills are required, and it's a multidisciplinary, multi-domain kind of thing. You need to know about web development, you need to know about apps, you need to know about OS, you need to know about databases, you need to know about networks. You need to have knowledge of all these to do a full cycle. So immediately you will get to know that this kind of activity is not done by one person. It has to be a group of people. So hackers are no more script kiddies who will download some script from the internet and execute and say I'm a hacker. Now hacking is a full-time business. It's a company sponsored, nation sponsored attacks are happening nowadays. So it's a group of people, each one specialized in some field, working together to get the objective done. And the best part of the 7-stage process is that it can happen within a month, or this whole process, 7 stages, can happen over the years. So this is what is called APTs, Advanced Persistent Threats, where things are coming like logic bombs. I will send the exploit kit in such a way that it will not execute, it will not do any harm. I will program it that on particular trigger or on particular time, at that time it will activate. So these are called logic bombs. And then zero-day threats. Nowadays, a lot of vulnerabilities are discovered by security researchers, and they are sold in open public to the hackers so that they can create the exploit kits and do the hacking. And it takes time for the antivirus companies or the security defending companies to find out, and also it takes time to create the exploit, create the signatures to prevent them. So these kind of threats are called zero-day threats, where the patches of those vulnerabilities are not yet out in the market. So that time gap gives the ability to the hacker to attack the system, because there's no patch for that malware or vulnerability, you can say. Now, apart from that, there are new challenges in IT security because of a lot of new technologies that we are adopting in data centers nowadays. First of all, virtualization. Nowadays, you cannot imagine a data center without virtualization. So one software, one application in one server. Now everything is virtualized. And if you know, there are two types of virtualization. One is the bare metal virtualization and hosted virtualization. So in bare metal, what happens is the hypervisor sits directly on top of the hardware, and on top of that we create the VMs. This many of you must be knowing. And in type 2 hosted virtualization, there is an OS, and the hypervisor sits on top of that OS. And nowadays something new is also coming, Docker and containerization, which you may be knowing. Here what happens is the OS is actually, there are two spaces, kernel space and user space. So user space is created separately and kernel space is shared. It's called containerization, and there are a lot of benefits in containerization, it's not as heavy as a VM, and one application per container, that kind of philosophy they have. And this is being a lot used in serverless architecture and by a lot of cloud service offering companies like Amazon, Microsoft Azure and all. So most of the data centers are deploying these technologies. Now there's a very fundamental and big problem with these technologies in terms of security. First of all, whenever you talk about virtualization, the concept of network perimeter evaporates. Co-located VMs. So there's no physical segregation between the VMs. All are running on the same physical hardware. And this creates problems like lack of persistence, tougher forensics, how to know which VM did what. Like I can spin a new VM, start a new VM, do some malicious thing in the network, delete the VM. What will happen? What logs I will have? I will have logs that VM was created and VM was deleted. What happened inside the VM? I will not have anything. So very difficult to do forensics in these kind of technologies. But yeah, solutions are coming and it will take time. Then there is something called blue pill attack. This is very interesting. A Russian hacker lady, she discovered it. What she does is she has written a piece of malware which goes into the MBR, master boot record of your hard disk, and writes there. So the next time the system boots, your Windows OS will not boot. A hypervisor will boot first, which is by the hacker, and on top of that, your existing OS will run again. And for any you will not even understand what happened. You will feel like, okay, the computer just restarted and I'm again back. But put it into a VM and the hypervisor has entered between your OS and your hardware. So imagine the level of control that attacker has, control of your hardware, and you have no idea what just happened. So this kind of blue pill attack is very dangerous, and it is open in public. You can just have a go Google it. Then containerization security. The problem with container is it's download the container images from an image hub like a Docker hub. So these images are maintained by third parties. So it's difficult to find out whether they have malicious code in it, whether they're really genuine. Can we digitally sign these images? Can we have a PKI kind of public infrastructure certificate, digital certificate by the set up for container images? So these kind of things are happening. Also container breakouts. Privileged execution. Now containers are meant for running an application within the container. Now suppose I write an application in such a way that it breaks out, goes into the kernel space of the OS, and gets more privileges to do malicious things. So these kind of attacks are also happening nowadays. And coming to cloud security, multi-tenancy is a big problem. In the same data center, public cloud, company A and company B both will keep the data. They both may be rivals. They may both may be competitors. So who knows whose data is accessing by whom? So for these, some things like randomized memory mapping of instances, homomorphic encryption, these kind of things are also coming, but they are not much in use in the industry. They are more in the academic research only. Homomorphic encryption is very interesting. It tells that suppose I want to encrypt 1 as A, 2 as B, right? Then I want to do a sum operation, add operation in these two. So I will not do the operation on the plain text. I will do the add operation on the encrypted text. So A plus B will give me suppose C. But and if I use the same algorithm to decrypt C, I will get 3. So the thing is, I will do the whole operation inside the encrypted text. So this kind of a model, if it comes out and it's used in industry, it will solve a lot of problem in cloud security where trust is a big thing. And now let's come to the solutions. So we have understood cybersecurity is a big problem, IT security is a big problem, how attackers are doing it, and what can we do to stop this? We have understood the skill chain. Now, if you see, the data lies in the center. So we have the CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and ability. We want to save the CIA of the data, and we are surrounded by different kind of attackers. It may be cyber criminals, it may be hacktivists, it may be nation insider threats. There may be some employees or some of your colleagues internally who are very angry with you or who are very angry with the company and they want to destroy. So their internal threats are much more dangerous. So we have to protect from these kind of malicious actors. And what are the technologies and tools they're using? They're using APTs, like we discussed, advanced persistent threats, DDoS kind of mechanism, zero-day threats, targeted attack, ransomware, and advanced polymorphic malware also they are using. So these are the attack vectors, right? And what is the solution? Solution here is that we need to think security at all these levels, starting from data level, application, host, internal network, perimeter, physical security, and finally policies and procedures. At the data level, we can think of encryption. At the application level, we can think of authentication and authorization techniques. At the host level, we can have like host-based firewalls, antiviruses. At the internal network, we can have like IP MAC bindings kind of secure network access kind of things. At the perimeter level, we can have firewalls, we can have UTMs, unified threat management solutions to protect. Or we can have segregated networks, air-gap networks at the perimeter level. Physical security, data center should be locked. It should not be allowed by any normal person to visit. Even if an AMC guy comes to repair one server or one PC, he has to be attended by somebody who is authorized to do all this work. And finally, policies and procedures. Now, this is very important because people are the weakest link in the security chain. A person's inability to know the depth of this field, or a person who's not that tech savvy or a geeky kind of person, he does a mistake, he clicks on an attachment, he clicks on a malicious link, he clicks on an ad, he opens a file which is there in the pen drive with malware. If he does these things, then also attacks may be prone. So to stop this, we need to have policies inside your organization, you need to have procedures. If a person is coming with their own laptop, we should not allow them to connect to the network. Even if he connects forcefully, that network, he will not get network access. There should be some kind of filtering by IP MAC and all that kind of stuff. So this kind of policies and procedures are also very important. There are different standards like ISO 27001, which says how to do this. And in terms of technology, there are plethora of companies. There are too many products available in the market to achieve this. You have different SIEMs, next generation firewalls, you have web gateways, email gateways, you have anti-spam engines, you have VPN solutions, virtual private network, DLP, data loss prevention solutions. DLP is something like finding patterns. Like, let me give you an example. Suppose in your organization, you have bought a lot of Microsoft licenses, and somebody is trying to send these licenses to some rival company or to his friend through his Gmail or through some other mode. So is there a system, can there be a mechanism we can detect this? So DLP solutions are those which can do that. Then URL filtering, which does sandboxing. Suppose somebody has sent you a link in your email. Now, before the end user clicks and open it, that system will try to open it in a virtual sandbox environment and find out whether some malicious backlinks have been created, some file is getting downloaded in behind. So this kind of URL filtering and sandboxing techniques are now coming. And the firewalls are there. But the thing is, still there is a security gap. No matter you spend hundreds of billions of dollars into security, 100% security is a myth. Even after doing everything, still companies, organizations are going to get attacked. So the idea should not be of doing 100% secure, because you have to understand that for a defender, he has to close all the security loopholes. But for an attacker, he needs only one to penetrate. So that is why 100% security is a myth. Now, why our defenses are failing? Okay, we have spent so much on security, we have done so much in technology and all, but why still organizations are getting attacked? Why government is being attacked? Why companies are being attacked? Why hospitals are getting attacked? It's because most of the security solutions are signature based. If you know how an antivirus works, it gets the sample of the latest malware, try to find out the signature of it, creates a pattern of it, and distribute the signature updates to the antivirus clients. Online updates. So you see every week or every 2-3 days you get antivirus updates. Why? Because the antivirus company is collecting all those malware samples and creating the signatures. Now, if there is a delay in creating the signature, or if the antivirus company does not get the latest malware samples, then there will not be any signature. There will not be any reputation of that malware. So these kind of malwares or zero-day threats, we are not able to stop, right? And next is lack of real-time inline content analysis. Most of the data that goes out of your network comes into your network. Most of the security technologies are trying to check the headers of the IP packets. They want to see whether the communication is genuine, whether it is communicating on the correct port, whether protocol is correct, whether sequencing and all those things is correct. But nobody is focused on the payload of that packet. So that is one reason why inline content analysis is very much needed nowadays. Now, just by focusing on the headers, we cannot tell whether the traffic is a malicious traffic or it's a genuine traffic. And also, most of the technologies, generally CISOs, or security officers or administrators, they deploy in a company or an organization are forward facing. They think that attacks will always come from outside. So they have a very good perimeter security, firewalls, UTMs, routers, and all. Like a shell, they're protecting the baby inside, right? But attacks can happen from within, insider threats. So that is what the CISOs and security administrators have to understand now, that the attack surface is not just the outside world, it can be from within. So technologies have to be developed, and nowadays it's happening. So for inbound protection, but a lot of the technologies in market today are for outbound protection only. And advanced analytics. This is a thing which is required, and it is being possible because of AI. Because there's a lot of things happening in your network. There's a lot of anomalies. How can we detect anomaly? Let me give you an example here. Suppose a person who comes to office in the morning 9 o'clock, he opens his laptop, he sees his mail, checks his mail, downloads some documents, updates some files, then browses some internet, then goes for lunch at 1 o'clock, then comes back at again 3 o'clock. He again opens a web browser, does some net surfing, checks his email, then at evening 6 o'clock he goes away. This is a regular pattern of a person who's working in the company. Now imagine that PC is also having a pattern, right? But suppose that PC starts up, boots up at midnight, does the network communication for 3 minutes, and again shuts down. Now this is something fishy. But can there be systems which can detect this? Yes, because logs are being created, traffic is being generated, but there has to be system, and it may be genuine traffic because the system is allowed internet, so it may be allowed. But why that system is booting up at midnight and automatically and doing all these things? So there has to be some kind of system, anomaly-based detection, behavioral anomaly, traffic anomaly, and so many kind of systems are now coming which are AI-based for detecting these kind of anomalies. And one of the major reasons that our defenses are failing is because we cannot trust on anything. If you see, we are not having all indigenous solutions. Like if you know about Edward Snowden, he was the American person who used to work in NSA, and he revealed that a lot of hardware devices we use today are embedded with malware and hardware trojans, with which the American is spying on citizens of other countries. So there's the famous Apple versus FBI case, where that phone has belonged to a terrorist, and you had to open and seize data. Apple told that we cannot do it. FBI told, okay, we'll do it, and they got it done. So how it is possible? If Apple says that encryption is one way, but it was being done. So these are some things that we cannot trust on, because the devices are not made indigenously by our own country. Even the OS is not ours, Windows is not ours, hardware is not ours, chip, Intel, the processor is not ours. Nothing is indigenous. So securing these systems is very difficult. You see, Apple devices are designed in California, made in China, and sold in India. So you don't know from where, which malware has been embedded into it. A logic bomb is embedded into it. After 3 years, it may blast, or it may do malfunctioning, or it may try sending all my data which I have been storing in this for over the years. So we need to understand that indigenization is something that we have to focus on the long run, right? And the reason that our defenses are failing is trust. We cannot trust the hardware, we cannot trust the software, we cannot trust the internet, we cannot trust the browsers, we cannot trust the mobile devices, and that is the reason why our defenses are failing. Like, let me give an example. We got one Cisco switch, network switch, NECIL, and while we were testing that switch, we found out that Ethernet ports have LED bulbs in it, yellow color, yellow, orange, amber color Ethernet bulbs. Now, those when the switch is in operation, those ports glow, and there was a pattern in this LEDs while they were glowing. So we took an opto reader, and some of our IT sanitation guys, they found out, yes, there is a pattern in the blinking of the light, and that switch was actually emitting the root password of the switch. Now imagine how Cisco or any attacker who might have designed or devised this, how he will get it. He may write a program in that switch that after 3 months of operation, this switch will stop working. So the company where it is installed, it will call the AMC guy or the support guy to come and check for it or repair it. That person, when he comes, he will come with an opto reader or with his own tools. He will detect the pattern, get the root password, and go away. And later they will do the attack from the internet. So these kind of things are happening. So we cannot trust the hardware, and this kind of side channel analytics, side channel attacks are very difficult to detect, and it's a pain for the government to stop this. DRC, DRDO, all are finding out how we can have a supply chain checks, so that a raw component of malicious hardware trojan is not there in the devices that we produce. So what we can do after hearing all this, something called smart defense, right? Everything is getting smart, devices are getting smart, so why not defense get smart? So the basic idea is principle of least privilege. We need to sandbox everything. We need to have a policy or a framework called zero trust. We will not trust anything. Any data which comes in our network, anything that goes out of the network is sandboxed. Everything should be sandboxed and run in a safe environment and execute it. See what it is doing. Is it doing something which it should not do or which is not meant to do? Then only deliver it to the end user. Like if a mail comes with an attachment, I will not deliver that mail directly to my employee, because that mail that attachment may have malware in it. So what I will do, I will try to have a system which will automatically download that attachment, execute it, open it, and see whether a link is getting created, or something is getting downloaded, or something is getting executed, something is getting written on the registry files. If nothing such sort is happening, then only I will deliver that mail as an attachment to the end user. So this kind of sandboxing technologies are now coming these days. Like this diagram which I have shown is of Apple's App Store. Any app which Apple nowadays is saying that is going to App Store is sandboxed. They're telling it how good they are doing it. We cannot trust it because it's not open source. Now, big data security analysis, like I was telling, anomaly detection, behavior profiling, outlier detection. These are the things that we can do, and we can leverage technologies like machine learning and AI for this. For everything that is happening in a network, in your data center, a log or event or alert is generated. but that is just the tip of the iceberg. A lot is there in that data which we have to find out. We have to dig out. Data mining kind of stuff has to be done, like configuration information, audit trails, identity context. Suppose a device is communicating with another device. Who are the owners of these devices? Are these owners of the devices connected? Are they from same department? Why are they communicating? Why should they not? Then external threat feeds, then DNS captures. So many logs, all, and it's an ocean. It's a big data. We need to have systems which can correlate all this data and give us insights, give us alerts which are false positives, which have less false positives. Robust security architecture in any organization. So if you see big data security analytic companies are telling that they are now able to do something like feature extraction, visualization, intelligence, outlier detection, something that does not happen in the network regularly but have suddenly happened that they can detect. So these things are coming up, but they are very costly. They are still in the very nascent stages, and very few companies have adopted them in their own network architecture. And this is what I was talking about, correlation. So if you see, there's a simple log statement, March 284435. There is a system PCI02 which is talking on a protocol SSHD, and it accepted the password from a root user and from this particular IP on port number this, and using protocol SSH version 2. Now this is simple log statement, right? But you need to focus and think on. If you are an attacker or you are a defender, particular date, how important, what else happened in the network at this particular time, in this time zone? Who is the host IP address? Where it is communicating to, which protocol it is used. At that time, who all others are using the same protocol. The password is accepted from a root user. Does the system has root privileges? Why it is having root privileges? Why it should not have? Then the IP is coming. Why IPs can know DNS? Is it a new system? Is it a domain control system or not? Who's operating the system? What kind of internet he's browsing traffic he has? What kind of person he is? Is a finance guy? Is a technical guy? Is a software guy or development guy? So all these information, if you can correlate, that is called threat intelligence correlation. And if you are able to do this, then only we can secure whole IT. And now we need to understand that security by obscurity is we cannot tell that our networks, because we are using air-gapped networks or we are using proprietary protocols and our own hardware, we cannot say. So we need to think security by design, and by this I mean we need to think security in all the stages of any product development, whether it's software development or by design. Mostly security is an afterthought. After we design the software, after we design the product, then we'll think of how to make it secure, right? But no, and it should be planned in all the stages of development, starting from planning, design, implementation, verification, validation, deployment, and finally operations. In all the stages, if you can read, there are a lot of security tools. Now let me talk about something about the career in. So you see, this is an Economic Times page which says that NASSCOM is predicting 1 million jobs by this year in cybersecurity. So you can imagine how dynamic this field is and what is the requirement, and the skill set required for this kind of profession is very different from a regular computer science engineering guy. It's not just about one domain. You need to have a plethora of knowledge across domains, starting from hardware to software to web to internet, databases, OS. And yes, you cannot master everything, but you need to have a basic idea of this field. There's a bright future ahead, I will say. And if you want to really get into this field, you should first you have to go for a formal education, engineering degree kind of thing in computer science, and parallelly you can have some certifications Earlier, CH was very popular, a certified ethical hacker, but nowadays it has become a business for that company, and they have diluted the content, and to make it more popular, a lot of people just give the exam and get the certification. So it's not kind of, I recommend anybody to do CH. I go for industry recognized certification like OSCP, which is Offensive Security Certified Professional, or CISSP, which is for experienced professionals who are having experience in this field for 4 or 5 years. They can go for CISSP, CISM kind of stuff. And also, if you want to really work in this field, you need to understand that you have to be industry aware. You need to have social presence. You need to follow top infosec guys. You need to follow different security blogs and hacker groups. Then you need to attend security conferences. These are some of the very popular conferences in the security industry, like Melcon, which happens in India, in Goa, in March every year. You have Hackon, you have Black Hat and DEFCON at the international level. Then also industry experience. Now it's a pandemic situation, so even if you're a student, you can have bring your own experience. Kind of tools are available online, like DVWA, Damn Vulnerable Web Application, or Metasploitable, Kali Linux. You can download these tools and start. These are tools which are applications which are intentionally made vulnerable. So as a learner, you have to attack it, find it out, and get the thing done. So these kind of tools are available. Also, you can participate in a lot of contests, CTF contests. They call Capture the Flag. So a lot of security hacking contests happen. The DSCI, Data Security Council of India, does it every year. A lot of conferences do it. So you can participate in these kind of contests and get a hands-on experience of how to attack systems, how to attack network, and participate in competitions. There is also bug bounty kind of program where companies, big companies, who knows that somebody is going to attack their system. So why not allow them to attack? If they are able to do, we'll pay them. So this is called bug bounty program. So a lot of big startup companies are coming out with bug bounty programs. So if you are skilled, you can try putting your effort in these bug bounty programs and earn a certain amount of bounty also. But one thing I'd like to advise here is that this is a domain, this is a field, this is a profession where commitment to learn is the fundamental thing, but you should also unlearn things. This is very important because the technology is increasing rapidly at a very vast pace. The security technology, the security products, the security techniques that were used 5 to 6 years ago are now nowhere. They're useless. So you have to forget those things. How security was to be done 3, 4 years, 5 years back down the line. It is so much evolving, adopting with the technology. Now AI, big data, and this kind of intelligence is also coming. Machine learning is coming into security. So you have to keep updating new things, and you have to forget the old things. So this you need to understand. And this last line is very important. To become a hacker, be an anti-hacker first. A lot of guys, computer science guys who are techie and geeks in college days, they want to become a hacker. They are very much convinced by movies these days. Like they want to hack the computer system. Mark Zuckerberg hacked the computer system, the databases of his college. So everybody wants to be a hacker. They want to hack your friend's Facebook profile. They want to hack his blog, his mobile phone. You want to check his mail. So becoming a hacker is not easy, and it's possible. But if you want to become a hacker, I'll advise be an anti-hacker first. First, understand how we, as security officers, as security administrators, are protecting ourselves from hackers. When you know it, when you get to understand the responsibilities and the technologies of an anti-hacker, then only you can become a successful hacker. And now let's come to the conclusion. So the statement is very apt. Security is everybody's responsibility and not just the job of administrators. And let me quickly sum up with some of the points that I discussed today. Smart devices are bridging the gap between digital threats and physical threats. This is very important. Hacking is no more a script kiddie's hobby. It's a serious business of skilled professionals. For security in the digital era, 100% security is myth. So we should look at damage limitation. How we can, even if we get attacked, how can we limit the damage? We should not think about absolute explosion. We cannot tell that we are completely secure and we are happy. No, we should not have a strategy of protecting everything 100%. We should have a strategy in such a way that even if our systems get hacked, we should have a limited damage. It should not spread. It should not create massive loss. It can create small loss. So our strategy should be aligned in that
It's
way.
9 o'clock.
I want to tell you that the more you hide, the more somebody wants to know why. So this you should keep in mind in security. And final thoughts, Amara's law, I believe in this Amara's law. It says that we tend to overestimate the effect of technology in the short term and underestimate the effect in the long run. This is a very bold statement. Like we never knew that Facebook will show this world map. Because Facebook also never estimated that it can see how people are communicating across the world. It can create these lights on the world map, and it underestimated itself. So we generally overestimate the effect of technology in the short run, but underestimate the effect in the long run. And before I close up, I want to show one video and play it. This video will let you know that where we are heading.
We have something much bigger. Your kids probably have one of these, right? Not quite. Hell of a pilot? No. That skill is all AI. It's flying itself. Its processor can react 100 times faster than a human. Is an airstrike of surgical precision. It's one of a range of products. Trained as a team, they can penetrate buildings, cars, trains, evade people, bullets, pretty much any countermeasure. They cannot be stopped. Now, I said this was big. Why? Because we are thinking big. Watch. $25 million order now buys this. Enough to kill half a city. The bad half. Nuclear is obsolete. Take out your entire enemy, virtually risk-free. Just characterize him, release the swarm, and rest easy.
Hello. Hello, am I audible? Hello. Hello, Vinod.
Yes, Mr. Avni, you are audible.
So with that, I'd like to end my presentation. And do you have any questions?
Okay. Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation.
Yes.
Abhinav, can you hear me? Hello. Mr. Abhinav, can you hear me? Okay. So thank you so much for your wonderful presentation. So we have
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, go ahead. It's my pleasure.
Your audio is not clear, Mr. Abhinav. Your audio is not clear.
Hello.
We can't hear you, Abhinav. We can't hear you.
No, I am able to hear you, sir. No problem.
Okay. So thank you so much for your wonderful presentations that you have given in this platform. We have learned so many things from you in the field of the IT security. and our participants have got the knowledge about the IT security techniques, cyber threat protection, etc., etc. Thank you once again for your nice presentation. Now the question hour session. I'd like to hand over to Mr. Amit Majindar, our assistant professor of the Computer Science in Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Engineering, JS College of Engineering. So, sir, please find out the question from the YouTube link and share with our speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Sumanto. And thanks, Mr. Abhinav Biswas, for a wonderful session.
Thank you, sir. It's my pleasure.
Participants, please post your questions in chat box. Till now, I am not finding any question. So only one questions I found at the very beginning. So I am just going to post that. So again, I am telling to all the participants, please write your questions in the chat box so that I can show the questions to our today's speaker. Now I am going to the only one question that I have found. So please wait, I am going to post it. So it is a question to Mr. Abhinav Biswas. Sir, may I know how can I get your job position? And do you really enjoy your job? So Mr. Abhinav Biswas, I have already posted the questions in chat box. So one participant asked this question.
I'll tell you, I really love my job because it is very interesting, because I don't do anything monotonous. For me, every day is different, every day is challenging, and every day I see a new malware coming, a new kind of anomaly happening in the network, and I'll say I'm lucky to have a great team behind me. Because of this, I'm able to do this, and I excellently love this job. It means I always aspired to become a hacker in my college days, and I'll tell that I'm lucky that I actually went up into that field.
Okay. So next question. So identity management, sir, please explain. Identity management.
Okay, so first of all, see, any entity in your network should have identity. Now, by entity, I mean it can be a PC, it can be a laptop, it can be a device like a switch or router, or it can be a person, it can be a role. So identity management is actually managing the identities of all these entities in such a way that we can give authorizations, we can give access controls, we can have authentication mechanisms for each of these identities. Now, this whole suite of tools is called identity management, and there are a lot of tools in the market which does this identity management. Various flavors of it and various controls are available. Like we have our own product, BRC, Mr. G. Joseph Scientist H has designed this. It's called SNAS, Secure Network Access System, where we can manage identity of any entity in your network. Now, identities are also connected with like digital signatures, digital certificates, PKI is involved, public key infrastructure is involved. So it's a complicated thing. It's very difficult to explain in this kind of forum actually.
So next question is, sir, what kind of hacking is good to learn?
What kind of hacking? So first you need to know what are the types of hacking. So there are two types basically. One is called black hat hacking and white hat hacking, and something is called gray hat also. But the major difference is intention. A black hat hacker has always malicious intention. whereas a white hat hacker will have good intentions, maybe to secure the system. So if you are a learner, I told, if you want to become a hacker, you have to become anti-hacker first. So to become an anti-hacker, you have to be a learner first. You should first try to do white hat hacking. Try to understand how things can be broken and how it can be patched up, how it can be prevented. When you have this knowledge, then you go into black hat hacking. So that would be my suggestion.
And next question is, what are the limitations of this cyber security?
Now, limitations. Now what sort of limitation are you talking about? First of all, cyber security is a buzzword. It's the bigger umbrella. Now it has different domains. Information security is separate. Data security is separate. Forensics and all those are separate. I will tell you that you better go on Google and find out cyber security domains. Then you will understand how cybersecurity is actually divided. It's a very big field, and there are different specializations. The DSCI, Data Security Council of India, has also come up with something called Cyber Security Career Map. You can go and find out that how you can start from a bottom fresher level to the CISO level. From different paths are there. So it's a very big domain. Different job roles are there. Network security is different. Data security is different. Then software application security is different. So based on that, database security is different. Cloud security is now different. So you need to understand that how means what is the scope of this. And now coming to limitations. Limitations can be there in each of these. Limitation can be in terms of technical skill of the people. Limitation can be there in terms of technology. Limitation can be there in terms of skilled manpower available in a country like India. Limitation can be in terms of resources to cloud services, resources to latest cutting edge technologies, resources to networks, defense networks and nuclear networks. Normal people will not have access to them because they are air gap. So if you want to learn hacking into critical infrastructure security, you cannot do it from the comfort of your home. You have to come and join an organization who are into this industries like defense industry or nuclear industry. Then only you can learn critical infrastructure hacking kind of thing. So there are limitations based on which field of security you are.
So next question I have already posted. What should we do to secure our IoT projects based on Node MCU and Arduino, etc.?
So like I told in one of my slides, that anything you're doing, whether it's software development or hardware development, like Arduino based board development, IoT based development, you have to think security in all the aspects, starting from planning, design, implementation, verification, validation, and finally operations and management. So this IoT device, where it will be located, in which field, okay, who will be the user, how it is communicated, whether through Wi-Fi, through Zigbee, through what kind of protocol, BLE or whatever it is, then how this device is connecting to the cloud, how that data is being sent to the cloud, whether it is encrypted or it is sent in plain text, where are the encryption keys stored. Then this Arduino board generally does not have an OS, right? So it is a microcontroller based kind of program. So whether that code can be replaced, can I take a new firmware and update on that hardware Arduino board? How can I prevent that? Can I have a digital signature of the firmware which is running on that Arduino board? Can I have a, like let me give an example. We manufacture EVMs, electronic voting machines. Now there are 3 units in it. There's a control unit, there's a ballot unit where we give the votes. Control unit is by the presiding officer, and one VVPAT, voter verifiable paper audit trail. So where the moment you give a vote, that the paper will be shown to whom you have given the vote, and it will the slip will cut and get dropped. So there are 3 units. Now when the voting is over, how I can ensure that these devices are not interchanged, or they are not manipulated, or not they are open and reloaded with new firmware. So for this there are different security mechanisms. Like each device is have something called tamper-proof mechanism. The moment you open it, the ROM will burn itself, so it cannot be reused for polling. Okay? The moment you open it, this is called tamper-proof mechanism. And also whatever existing votes that were done in that, it will be stored in the ROM. And also if somebody tries to erase the ROM or try to write new firmware, it is write protected. So these kind of, also if you replace it with a new device, new control unit, it will not match with the ballot unit. So what will happen? There is a digital signature mismatch. Certificates will not match, and these certificate keys are stored at our factory. So you have to understand that, like you're telling IoT-based product of Arduino and all, you have to think where it is used, how it is used, which protocol, everything. The whole process you have to understand where can be the vulnerability and then fix it.
And the next question is how to get prevented for virus attack by email or educational website or online teaching site, etc., or any free apps which may be educational activities.
Okay, now first of all, the thing is there is nothing free in this world, right? You have to agree with this. Any free software you get online, any free cracked OS, cracked database, or anything that you get free, it is not free. It is bundled with a margin given to you, first of all. And now this talk about websites. Websites are highly penetrative these days. They have session cookies for doing advertisement campaigns and all, lot of viruses and all. And malware, if you say, malware generally also comes through drive-by downloads or through email attachments like you told. Now, what we can do to prevent this? The first thing that we can do is have a genuine OS in your system and install a genuine licensed antivirus. First thing, this is the very basic minimum. It's not about saving money. It's about doing the bare minimum. Now, after this, the next biggest thing I will tell is to become vigilant. Whatever you're doing online, you have to know why you're doing, or is it happening as it should happen. Means anything fishy, don't click. If a message comes like you have won a lottery of 1 lakh, just click and you get the money. Never click that link. If you get a what you call attachment or mail with some greeting card sent from some unknown friend, don't open it. Nobody is going to send you free greeting cards. Anything which is suspicious, just don't execute it in your system, don't enable it, don't open it. Even hardware devices, don't pick up pen drives from road. Don't take smart cards from road or take cards from road and start using it. Don't do these things. So that is the bare minimum you can do. And about educational sites, that I would say that it depends on who is serving the content. Now, there are a lot of startup companies, they just register a domain and start an education website. No, you cannot trust them. They may tell that I'm giving you free courses on cybersecurity, just sign up. So you have to understand, go to that website in some sandbox environment, okay, in a virtual machine in your system, so that even if some virus is downloaded, it will not be downloaded in your system. It will download in the sandbox, in the VM. Okay, try to find out who is background of that. Where are the servers located? All these things are publicly available information. If you have a doubt in your website, even when you open online SBI or any banking account or Amazon, okay, if you have a doubt that I'm not opening the right website, just go find out where it is being hosted, what is the DNS server, where it is getting resoluted. You have tools, browser extensions are available which can tell you all these details, what kind of server they're using, whether it's a Linux server, it's a Windows server, what kind of PHP, Java programming they're using, where are the servers located, whether it's in India or it's outside, which kind of payment gateway standard they're using, PCI DSS standard, whether they're using or not, whether they're using HTTPS certificate, green color is coming or not in the path. There's so many things. You have to be vigilant, you have to be knowledgeable, and you have to keep updating yourself. Then only you can protect yourself from online fraud.
And next question is, how can we secure our home and enterprise networks, and how can we diagnose the possible threats in the network?
So see, first of all, home network and enterprise network are complete different ball game. For home network, generally you have a broadband network with a router and with some Wi-Fi clients in 192 series. It's a class C address, right? Now, the best thing here you can do is you cannot do much here because you don't have the control of the network. But on the enterprise level, if you see, you can do a lot of things, and it is a part of our job for a security administrator. Like like I told, there are different levels: data, application, host, network, perimeter, and also at all these levels there are different technologies, products available. So you have to buy those technologies, you have to put them, or you can develop your own, or use open source, and you have to do this. Now this is a very big question. Now, how can I secure home network and Wi-Fi network? For that you need to understand who is your attacker, who is trying to penetrate you. If you know who is your attacker, then only you can prevent yourself. Like if I am a banking industry, I know who are my attackers can be. But if I'm a home network, I know who can be my attackers. It can be my neighborhood, somebody trying to sniff my Wi-Fi network. So my scope is less. So if I have to protect from my home network, I have to see who are my attackers are, what are the attack surfaces, what are the attack vectors they are using, and based on that, I will devise a solution.
So next question is, if the IoT gone wrong, what it will take to recover? Say we can have the control of a refrigerator. If we want a temperature to set and smart refrigerator was not able to that, is it hacked or what? So I've just posted the question. You can find it in the chat box.
See, let me tell you. It depends on attacker intention. Suppose he has got control of the IoT device, the refrigerator that you're calling. He can make it stop working. He can make it do nothing, or he can increase the coolness so much that it ultimately the compressor burns out. So it depends on the hacker and how much control, how much privileges he has on that IoT OS or IoT firmware, whatever you call it. So it depends on the hacker first, because there have been instances where these IoT devices like refrigerators have been used to send spam mails to Prime Minister's office. Imagine one fine day, CBI comes to you or police comes to your home and tells you that your refrigerator has been sending threatening emails to the Prime Minister's office. So we have come here to arrest you. This can happen because there's a processor inside in your refrigerator. That processor is connected to internet and it can run applications, maybe HTTP applications or email SMTP application, and it can send mails or it can do anything. So it depends on how that processor is there, what are the capabilities of that processor, what are the intentions of the hacker. He wants to do a sabotage, he wants to do espionage, or he wants to simply attack and make it a bot so that he can use it for DOS attacks. So that will depend on the attacker, what kind of malicious use he can do with the compromised refrigerator.
So now probably it is the last question. What is the best book to learn the security of blockchain? Do you have any recommendations or techniques to improve the security of blockchain?
Now, I am very much excited to know this guy first. Who is this? Because somebody is talking about not just blockchain, he's talking about security of blockchain. Is he a student?
So actually it is, no, the participant has just posted in YouTube. Okay, maybe.
Okay. And anyway, see, blockchains and cryptocurrencies, these are different ballgame altogether. Plus, these are not being used in a government scenario as of yet. Some pilot experiments are being done in like a land record management system or taxation system. Something are there, but they are not being used. Now you're talking about security of them. Now, security will not depend on the implementation of this technology. Blockchain, as you know, it can be like a centralized blockchain or it can be decentralized blockchain, right? Main idea is decentralization of the mining mechanism. Now, who can do the mining? Whether anybody with any laptop can do the mining, or any authorized personnel with authorized devices can do the mining operation. Then whether that blockchain is being used in the finance industry for money related things, or it is being used for this kind of land record management or some healthcare related field. So based on the attack surface will be different, and based on the attack vectors will also be different. Like if I know there is a blockchain which is being used. Now, what is blockchain? First, we need to understand for that. It's a decentralized mechanism of storing data which can be publicly verified, publicly proven. It is robust. It can be. So these are some features of blockchain, right? Now, whether these features are really needed for my application is my first concern. And after I have implemented this blockchain, how I have implemented, which kind of language I have used, which kind of device, hardware I am using, OS I am using, whether I am running this blockchain in cloud or I am running it in a local data center. So there are a lot of factors based on that, and based on that I can decide on what security to do on top of it.
Okay, so I think there is no more question. So thank you, Mr. Abhinav বিশ্বাস, for answering the questions. There are many questions have been answered by you.
So people
again,
can reach me in my LinkedIn or my Facebook, openly available. They can definitely contact. I like people to disturb me.
so once again, so thank you, Mr. Abhinav. Now it is over to Sumanto.
Thank you, Amit sir, for conducting this session. Okay, thank you once again to Mr. Amit Majumdar, Assistant Professor of JS College of Engineering, Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Thank you, Mr. Abhinav Biswas. We have already answered so many questions are there. We have already, participants, we have already asked so many questions are there because we have the time limitations. So due to this time limitation, it's not possible to take all the questions are there. But still, if you have any questions that you can put it, and we will try to give the answer in the offline mode. Now we would like to just conclude this session. We are just conducting this session, just 1.5 hours already over, and still you know that you are showing your interest in this field. You know that we would like to just conclude the session. Before conclusion, I'd like to request Ms. Devasri Mitra, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, to share a small token of appreciation with our speaker, Mr. Abhinav Biswas, and give vote of thanks. I'd like to share the screen. Is it visible, Devasri madam?
Yes, it is coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
So, thank you, Abhinav. You know that we all love you and our blessings are always with you. And this is and we are very thankful that you have shared so many things to your juniors, to your teachers and other participants all over the country. And this is an honor for our department, for our college, that you managed some time for us, for your juniors, for your teachers, and for the participants. And thank you, and please accept our a small token of appreciation, and which is in the form of digitally. You know, right now it is not possible to send you anything. So hope we will meet soon in the bad time will over. And whenever you will be in Kolkata, I think we all will meet with you in physically. And thank you. And thank you to all the participants. And I just want to acknowledge the thanks to our management, to our principal sir, to our registrars madam, to our head of the department for allowing us to conduct such a wonderful session through web platform. And there are many participants have joined throughout the session. There are many questions and many questions answered by our beloved speaker. And hope in near future we will do this kind of webinar with you and other speakers also. And very soon we will come to our next webinar with a new topic. And till now, take care. Thank you and good night.
Thank you,
Over
ma'am.
to Shumanta, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Devasri madam, for your wonderful speech that you have shared with us. I'd like to thanks once again, Mr. Abhinav Biswas, that you have really given the excellent presentation today. And I would like to request Mr. Amit Majumdar, please share the feedback link with our participants. That's what they can give the feedback about this session. I would like to thanks all the faculty members, those who have really joined in this program. If you want to say something, then you can say. Sir and madam, if you want to say something, then you can say. Anybody of you from the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, if you want to say anything.
Hi Abhinav, how are you?
Hi,
Here,
ma'am.
Moti madam.
I'm good, fine. How are you?
It is very nice to see you here, and you have means done an excellent job you are doing, and here also you have given an excellent speech. So very nice to see you here. And I think all the participants have got some knowledge from your speech. Thank you very much for sharing all these things. Thank
was
you.
my
Thank
Thank you, madam. Thank you once again. Anybody else from this Department of Computer and Engineering? Say
Yes.
something.
Mr. Abhinav Biswas, myself Amit Majumdar, Assistant Professor from Computer Science and Engineering Department. So your face is new because I joined nearly 1.5 years ago. So it is wonderful session. You are with, you have given your valuable time with us. So it is very nice, and thank you for your wonderful and nice presentation. So thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Amit Majumdar, for your, that you have shared your view. Anybody else from this meeting, those who are present in this meeting, if you want to say something? Yeah, so we have got the message from Sudipta Shahana sir. Thank you, Abhinav, for your wonderful session. Thank you once again, Mr. Abhinav Biswas, that you have really explained well and you have really given the wonderful presentation. I think that those who have really joined in this webinar, and we have really got the huge response from your side, from across the country, that we have got huge response. And you know that we will try to organize this such kind of the program in future also. I'd like to thanks, that honorable principal of our college. I would like to thank Register Madam of our college. They have already given permission to organize this kind of the program in this pandemic situation. So I'd like to request Mr. Abhinav Biswas, when we will overcome this pandemic situation, you will just come to our college, visit our college, and we just enlighten your views with our students. Okay, so this is my request, and I hope that you will just fulfill it. And I would like to thank all the participants there, those who have already joined. I would like to thank all the the technical persons. They have really given the enormous support to conduct this program. I would like to thank Mr. Amit Majumdar for nicely conducting the question hour session. I would like to thank Dr. Sudipta Shahana. He is the host of this program. And I would like to thank all the faculty members and the technical staff. They have already, supported us to conduct this program smoothly. So thank you once again. Good night, all of you. Amit sir, have you shared the feedback link?
Yes, I have already shared, and Sudipto, I think, yes, Sudipto has already shared. I have also shared.
Okay. Thank you. All of you give your feedback, and within 2 to 3 days that you will get your certificate. Thank you once again. Good night, all of you. I'd like to request Sudipto sir, please end this meeting.